never mentioned it. Now I'm
Okay.
nervous.
It's
All right.
been a while.
It's been a while, yeah. All
Alright.
right, let's begin. Our story continues as our party of adventurers have ended up in Taruga through a mixture of investigation and espionage. They've discovered that quite a few things have been plaguing this small city by the shore. One, of course, is that there are a lot of people who have now began to suffer because of the shortages of livelihood. Miners have been forced out of the mine through the appearance of these weird crystals, similar to the ones that you've seen according to the stories that you've heard, especially from the fat lady by the fisherman's market. One thing you've also discovered is that after the whole situation where a lot of people suddenly ignited into these blue flames after the moons have aligned in the sky, similar to what most of you had felt. It seems that the local people of Taruga had used this as an opportunity to take back, or at least to overthrow the system and fight back against the aristocracy. Through a mixture of luck and also just natural intuition, you were able to ascertain that Turok was one of the people who instigated this whole situation, being the individual who has been hired to hunt down Enderal for quite some time, which now you know is named Hikara. You were able to hunt him, find his personal night lady friend, impersonate that night lady, and eventually assassinate him. Just before you did, you discovered the location of where the aristocrats were being held, and they were found by this three-story building by the aristocrats district on the basement of it by the sea, and you were able to free them somehow, but also in the process discover that by the rooftops there were these three strange individuals that were almost as if against their will pushing this mechanism that was slowly growing or increasing in size somehow, a crystal of their own. After you've dealt with it, it caused a gigantic portal to open with this shadowy figure, extremely tall and extremely large, slowly reaching out from the portal towards your direction. You were all able to duck underneath. At least if you didn't die anyway. But after that, the portal itself imploded from within, destroying the connection to wherever that dimension was and yours. You are now on the third floor, well, really the third and a half floor of this building, with Enderal and her father, two men, and also the remains of this makeshift device. Pieces of the crystal scattered all across the floor, and a significant chunk left into the center of it. The party now looks towards each other and begins to wonder what they should be doing next. You all look at one another and you can see that you're all beaten down. Ragnar's especially not looking too hot. Until eventually you do notice that there's one individual here, the father of Enderal, looking quite horrible. Just from looking at her and him, you could tell that he's in a very critical condition. He looks as if he's barely holding on to the threads of life. He's standing and he's breathing. He's down onto the floor with Enderal. Enderal had touched his chest and bleeding had stopped. But you could see that he requires quite immediate attention. Enderal, without saying a word uncharacteristically, looks towards the back and sees the three of you, and you all share a certain look. Can everyone roll an insight check for me, please? You can roll it. I don't have to do it for you.
Roll one for Enderil too.
No,
Oh.
she has something. Don't worry.
11. 11's one.
Whoa.
All right.
Yeah, it's bad. With a +7. Ugh.
An 11 and 11 between Lisbeth and Frigis. You're left a little bit confused over the expression that Enderal has. You look at her, and she has this, for the first time, you think you since you've met her, a very distraught face. A face that isn't even trying to feign confidence. So you've been in sticky situations before, and you know that she's always put on this facade of confidence, even when she wasn't. But now you can see that her face is just completely pale and worried in comparison. Most of you don't understand. However, Ragnak, you've been working with Enderal quite closely for the past few weeks, and you have developed a level of a bond, and you sort of understand a bit more of her character. She looks at the three of you and almost just smiles very faintly. A teardrop falls to the side of her face, and she extends her hand outwards towards you with her one hand to her father. And you see this small, almost wristwatch thing fall out of her sleeve, and it falls down just halfway, about an inch away from her wrist. She flicks it to her hand and clicks it. For less than a second, you see the image of Enderal and her father disappear. You are now on this rooftop, wondering what the heck is going on.
I start looking around, wondering if there's an enemy because Enderil usually does things for tactical reasons.
I
Roll
think we
perception
should.
check if you'd like.
I think we should
Are the two other men
evacuate.
here?
The two other men are still there, yes.
Just look at them like, do they know?
Mm. They look quite as dumbfounded as you do.
Should we put them to safety with the rest of the others?
Yes. That's a good idea. Let's do that.
Hmm.
She has Endeavor has multiple ways to contact us if she wishes.
Yeah, she could just pop up in one of our dreams and be like, "Hey yo, I am
Yes.
doing fine,
Let's
looking
hope
very
that she
fabulous."
let's hope she disappeared because she felt eyes on her, and she will do that later. But
Mhm.
for now, we have the survivors to take care of.
Yes.
Oh,
So where do we send the last patch of the survivors?
I think they're all still downstairs
yeah. I
with
start
one
Mm.
saying
I
he
start to
has
help
a way.
them. They can they move on their own, DM?
They look like they're not permanently injured, but they're very weak and frail. Standing up is difficult, but possible.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of like help them up and start walking, at least one of them, and then I ask Frigis to uh yeah, as I'm moving with one of them, I ask Frigis like, I hope that thing isn't coming back again by the looks of that explosion.
Speaking of which, what about the rocks, the gem? It exploded, right?
Yeah,
There's multiple shards on the ground.
I hope that's the end of it. But
Oh yeah.
check
It's
it if you
not
could.
Check it.
the thing that was producing it, what was acting as a hammer and like teleportation device, still working and is still intact at least.
Mm,
I'm gonna take my water skin, give it to the two, You go downstairs and drink slowly. I go round up the others that are downstairs, see if there's nothing fishy, and let's try to go from there.
Question:
Hopefully, yes.
should we burn the device? Should we destroy, dismantle it somehow?
Yes, but we can't burn it. We could have it would have already burned.
We
It's
can
magic.
burn.
We need to
Hmm.
take whatever is magical
Mm-hmm.
and then find a way later.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's a great idea.
Ragnar's gonna go downstairs to round up the others and hope that the one that said he had a villa wasn't lying.
As you sort of prepare yourselves and a couple of arms across Lisbeth's side, you bring them downstairs with a water skin, trying to regain or at least comfort them in any way their strength. The situation from whence you told them that they would needed to evacuate and heading upstairs is actually quite a short amount of time. It was only a matter of about 10 to 15 minutes since you got to the rooftop. The whole explosion had happened. So as you go downstairs, you could still hear a ruckus of shuffling of feet going on into the first floor. And just as Ragnar dashes down, you catch a few more individuals just about to leave the doorway. There was originally about 15 to 20 aristocratic people here, and you catch about four of them about to leave by the front door. And the guy who said he had a villa, uh, he's quite pompous. He's got a very strong chin with a cleft, and it protrudes outwards a little bit. Really exposed cheekbones. He's as macho as it gets. Um, he's got long flowing hair that falls down onto his shoulders, Matt Mercer style, and a very sharp bridge onto his nose and deep hazel eyes.
So like Gaston without tying his hair.
Sure, yeah, yeah. Uh, he's still gesturing to people wildly to get out of the way, but then his eyes bolt up a little bit as soon as he sees you, and he says, "What the heck was that? That was so
Uh,
loud."
it was a contraption, an explosion happened, as you can see. Don't worry though, it's done. But we have two more. You have to take care of them.
All right. Is it safe? Are you gonna stay here? Are you gonna come with us, or
Um, I look at Elizabeth and Friggis.
We
Uh,
have no real place here. This is
Uh,
Andrew's
he,
yeah.
homeland.
Should we
he
have
has.
Yeah.
someone watching the device in case someone comes in and tries to take it away?
I think. Uh, Lisbeth, are you able right now?
Well, it depends. What do you need me to do?
Maybe you should go with the survivors to the villa. Meanwhile, me and Friggis just stay maximum 5 minutes behind to try to dismantle the main teleport. We
Yes,
can't leave
Hmm.
it behind, it's too dangerous.
I understand. Um, is the where are we right now, DM? We are at the.
you're by the? Let me draw it for
Are
you.
we near where the dead body of that boss guy is?
Yes.
Yeah, we're
Okay,
just in front of the entrance, he's just
yeah.
behind it.
I asked the guy with the mansion because he seems to at least, probably someone with knowledge. I asked, is this the owner of this mansion? I mean, of this place, or does he have a boss?
I, Senorita, I do not know.
No.
I've
Ugh.
never seen this man in my life.
Okay, then I tell to,
Inside check.
yeah. I'm gonna take it at face value, but I'm gonna tell right now then it this place might belong to someone else, so just be careful.
It's your bonus,
Yes,
Ragnar.
0.
He seems. It's hard to tell if he's telling the truth or not, but what you do know is he takes quite a bit of an offense to the question. So when you mention that is this the person, he looks as if like, me? Why are you asking me?
Hey, you have
That's
a
the vibe
house
he's
around
giving.
here.
That's the vibe he puts off, and
Yeah.
he's not very cooperative, to say the least.
I was like, all right, fine, we just saved you, so let's just go. All right, so lead the way.
See, señorita. If you follow me, I can lead you over there. We know exactly where to go. My villa will keep you safe. And he sort of gestures that it's gonna be by the shore as well, a little bit more eastern from where you are.
What does your villa look like? So we can find it once we're done with what happened with upstairs.
Well, if you're looking from the south towards the sea, you will see that it's got a very beautiful wired fence with elaborate Italian design. You see, I'm not from here, and he goes on a little bit of a tangent, explains just a little bit much, and then he goes in high detail. You will find it quite distinct by finding the statuette of myself standing in the middle of the fountain.
That's good enough. The skunk says, "I'll turn around, stand up,
What
and
is
go upstairs."
Italian style?
I don't know.
Don't set him off, Bridges. Hurry.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So you follow Lisbeth, and the two fall behind. Is that
Yep.
correct? All right. As Lisbeth follows, this guy takes you towards a little bit more of an eastern distance. You can see from the outside, people are looking directly at you. The windows wide open, people gossiping on the street. Some of them, you can see quite a few ladies out here, probably in their mid 50s, wearing these really elaborate, uh, not exactly nightgowns, but like silk robes that you wear just before you go to bed, but it's not inappropriate to bring it out to the street. And you could see them sort of whispering towards each other in a very raunchy, raunchy manner. And you can definitely tell they're gossiping about you as they giggle and gasp as people are passing by. And this guy who has this really pronounced chin just says, Silencio! And then the ladies disappear. Like, almost like, oh, excuse me. And, but they continue anyway as soon as you walk past. The two, however, as you stay behind, the structure itself seems still secure. It doesn't look like the building is collapsing. There's quite a lot of a mess. There, the ornaments that were attached onto the wall, for example, like torch stands, a couple of candelabra by the tables, are all onto the floor now. Do you go to the third floor again, the top where the device is?
First, in the room where the big guy was talking with Andrew's illusion,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try to find some piece of metal or basically a lever, something that can be used as a lever.
All right, make an investigation check.
Not 2028.
Perfect.
Wow.
With a nat 20, not only do you find a crowbar, you find an adamantium crowbar.
Yes.
Nice.
It looks
Nice.
like it wasn't part of this building itself. It, however, does look like it was part of the gears and tools that were brought by these people. You can tell that it's definitely not part of the household materials. It's adamantium, but the design is quite roguish. It's very outlandish design. Doesn't look elegant.
They paint it black, make easier to conceal.
It's got a very dark green sheen to it. So it does look black if you don't pay attention to it.
Good. Okay. Let's go.
Ooh, that's some fancy crowbar. We could
Let's hope it doesn't instantly break on the
we could
1,000 pound.
I think we could sell those if we don't use it later. Or maybe
I
we
mean,
could just
if
keep
it
it.
doesn't, I mean, if it doesn't break, it's probably a good thing to have
Yeah.
because it will be really good against doors, which are
Hmm.
a tough
Just
thing to be dealt with.
just whack it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but if it does break, yes, at least it will still have value.
Hmm.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
You head onto the third floor again. You can see now clearly as the smoke and debris had sort of set. There's a lot of white powder off onto the floor, which you imagine is the finely crushed crystalline sand from the crystal that was being grown here, so to speak. And the trellis from above has these broken fixtures sort of just hanging by vines onto the side. You can hear it going occasionally, tuck, tuck, as the as the wind scrapes it against the side of the building. But aside from that, nothing strange. The place is eerily cool despite having been burned. What do you do?
Let's look each of us into the design and then try to find where to start leveraging force.
Hmm.
We need to pop it out and then get out
Hmm.
quickly before reinforcements show up, if any will show up.
Okay.
Both
That
of you
sounds like a
try.
yeah.
Both of you are trying to find a spot where you can sort of yank it out using
Yeah,
the crowbar. Then both of you either make a perception or investigation check, or one of you can lead and assist. It's up to you.
let's both investigate.
Yeah. I'll do perception.
Mm.
Yep, they haven't caught up with us, right?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Oh wow!
Wow, 25 and
Wow.
24.
So Robin was the bad egg. uh,
That's not true.
he stole all the good rolls. Uh, you can see the Ragnarok as you travel, you traverse around the device. You could tell that this one is actually relatively makeshift. So the wood beams that were put in here look like they were just sort of quickly fashioned to fit this purpose. Also, the very base stone foundation of it is also made out of simple stone, simple rock. But the mechanisms that are inside, you can see that there's like these bearings, some gears that were engineered. You find a hole somewhere in the middle that you can sort of seek in through. Make a history check.
Yeah. Let's
I'd
do
say
it.
you
14.
can actually do this with advantage considering your story.
Still 14.
Okay. With a 14, it's kind of hard to tell, but you could definitely tell that this is not human made, not made from the material realm. The gears that are inside look like they're pretty similar to the Ignis stone that you found originally. And it's a specific type of, not to say aesthetic, but design that is very unique towards the Nine Planes.
Yeah.
And just as you're doing that, Frigis finds a spot where you can sort of put the crowbar in between these two gears and possibly yank out and dislodge them from their place.
There?
Yeah.
Okay.
There. I can't do much. I only bring destructive spells, so I'm going
Uh,
to climb up to
uh,
the roof and
I know, I know. It's all in the leverage of the forces. Just step on it on the opposite side.
step on the opposite side.
Yes. And then when it starts to crank, just be ready to land on your feet instead of just falling.
Ah, okay. So you want me to catch it? Is that it?
If it does pop out in your direction, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I ready my action.
You get to roll athletics as Frigis somehow assists you and also prepares to pick up any gears that might end up flying. But not only that, you find it relatively easy. with the adamantium crowbar, that you get a +5 to the athletics check using it.
Yeah. 24.
24. You would normally find this very difficult, but through this tool, you found it very easy to yank into. And it's designed in such a way that there's slight curvature at the end that you can yank down easily. You hear the clink, you hear a first click, but you keep going, clink, another one. And then on the third, it breaks through from, because you can imagine like it had a hole in the middle and there's like, this is where the crystal was. You put your crowbar, and on the third click, it yanks up from underneath and breaks through the middle. They don't end up flying except for one small gear piece about the size of your fist. It just goes tick, 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 flying away towards the direction of where Frigis is. Frigis, you can roll a deck save if you'd like to try and pick it up.
Dex save 13.
With a 13, you try to reach it, tick, 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 but it falls down to the ground onto the side of the building. So it's sort of, you do the sort of juggling movement, but as it falls to the ground onto the other side, you see it shatter. And as it shatters, bursts off into flame, into a 15 feet cone, or at least 15 feet area. And you hear the passersby into the area going, "Oh my gosh!" And it just dissipates, leaving this scorched mark onto the floor about 60 feet beneath you.
You
Whoops.
said you would catch it.
Well, it's difficult, okay? It's harder than it
Uh,
looks.
Fair enough. It was very easy to pull off. Probably jump to force.
Maybe the crowbar is too effective.
Nah, I like it. Yeah, so we have both sides or just the one under now?
From underneath, pushing up, it looks like you can access the whole device from now.
Okay.
There's a total of 2 bigger gears and 1 smaller gear. The first one shattered into fire. And there's these 2 bigger gears the size of a car wheel.
No.
And they're
Yeah.
cogs. They look like cogs.
I'm gonna try to scrape the cogs to see if they're magical,
Mhm.
or and meaning they will either be part of the like contraption, like the wood and the stone. We don't really care. And if it doesn't, if it won't scrap off, it means it is magical and it's part of the magic item itself.
Hmm.
Or I
As you
could
do, you
just
don't
cast Detect Magic.
Can you do it fast?
No, I can't.
even. As you do, you sort of yank out that gear. It looks like the gear just has
Just
one
scrap
single.
it at first,
Yeah.
because if it's a magic item, it won't leave a mark.
Yeah. So it's like connected to one basic wooden beam, and as you pull it, it looks like the only thing that's magical here are these 2 cogs that are sort of intertwined to one another, but now slightly misaligned, and the smaller one that shattered.
Okay, I'm gonna take a pouch and put it like around my hand and go to take both.
All right. As you grab a pouch nearby and sort of reach down, even through the leather, it's extremely hot. And as you take away the pouch, it almost singes itself to your skin, and you smell this smell of burnt leather. While you contemplate this, Elizabeth, you arrive at the villa. It wasn't that far, and people were walking at a brisk pace as you arrived. And he wasn't kidding when he was explaining the entrance. It's got this very elaborate garden at the front. It's needlessly large, even compared to the aristocrats here. He looks he looks extremely concerned about the appearance, and the gates are made out of silver, and as it opens, you can see this very, very, very expensive fountain that sort of goes up into this multiple dolphin shape that just sort of spews water everywhere, but it even rotates at the bottom.
Jesus Christ.
It's spiraling. And you can imagine the dolphins are in the middle, there's water around, and there's like a well, outer well for it.
Hmm?
And like the outer casing of the fountain itself, because there's like the dolphin piece, the water, and then the shell. And the very outside of it, you could see almost like maybe 2 feet tall, a statue of himself
Oh, there it
looking
is.
looking at the fountain,
Wait, how
like
many feet tall?
2 feet tall, very small.
What? They're not gonna be able to see that. Before we come in, before we go in, I turn around and look behind me to see if there's any significant looking landmark that I can tell to Ragnar and Frigis instead. Cause
The most significant one would be the one you're in currently. All the houses are kind of fancy,
mhm.
but they're relatively very elegant in the way they portray their riches. It's
Okay.
just good quality wood, mahogany doors, but this one's all show.
Okay, it's silver
The garden
gates,
is
right?
open. Yeah,
Silver gates, right?
silver gate. Yeah, and you can peer
Yeah.
through the garden inside even from
Yeah.
afar.
All right. I'm gonna sending to Ragnar like um when you come, just look for the silver gates and rotating dolphin fountain.
Okay, noted.
Yeah.
We'll be there soon. We just have some difficulties.
All right. Yeah, then I will start looking I will start heading in, trying not to make any remark. I don't want to start him off again.
It looks like he's busy talking to other people right now. Anyway, all right.
Who I try to ask one of these people I'm with what is the Chin Man's name.
Mm,
Don't want to ask the Chin Man himself.
wait, I actually forgot. Let me check my notes. Okay. Okay. Uh, the one you're talking to right now is a relatively older woman. Well, not relatively, quite an older woman, probably in her 60s, hunched back a little bit, but her skin is well taken care of and she smiles at you and she still has perfect pearly whites. How that happens in a medieval world, you don't know, but it is. And she looks at you and goes like, "Oh, that man is Monticello.
Mm,
Monticello Tesoro."
Monticello Tesoro. Okay. Have you been here, lady? I try to get her name. So,
See, you can call me Doña Jonosha.
Doña. Okay.
You could just call me Doña.
Okay, thank you, Lady Doña. I don't remember her last name anymore. Donosha?
It's Dionosha. It's like
Yeah.
Dionosya. And she just basically explained, see, to answer your question, I have been here my whole life.
Oh, you live here. So I suppose,
Well, not here,
since...
not with Marcello,
Ah, I see.
but I have been here in Taruga my whole life.
I see. Well, I don't really want to disturb Mr. Monticello. He's busy. But I suppose we can head inside. And I
It's
would
like
really
I
like
just need
to
you to.
know why everyone was in that mansion, if you don't mind sharing.
I was taken in my sleep.
Oh,
I'm not sure how they did it, but I was asleep. I take this medication that my helper gives me to give me a good night's sleep, and next thing I know, I'm half awake being dragged into this area. I don't live that far off, you see. I just live on that house opposite, and she gestures that it's about a 5 minute walk away.
okay. I asked her if her helper is in the crowd with
No,
us.
I haven't seen Julio at all. No.
Julio, I see. All right. Well, let's get you in then. Do you still need your medicine? Do you know what it is for?
No, it's not a problem.
Okay.
Not now. All right.
Mm,
And as you do, you get to know a little bit more about these people. Frigis and Ragnarok are sort of figuring out the device. What are they doing?
Well, if the whole teleporter itself is just a 3 cogs, and we've just seen one explode, the safest bet is just to destroy the other two, right?
Won't it create any side effects like an explosion, a
It
bee
will.
ex
We just have to be far away.
Oh. Oh, wait. So we can just leave it here and I can explode it from a very far away, right?
Let's do that.
Yes.
Go,
Violence.
go out the room. If I remember correctly, there's the room, and the way to access it is like two ways that go back together in this. And if we just leave a bit, we have a perfect cover. Uh,
That is correct.
nice.
Okay. So what's the flavor of the extraction? Would it be simple fire or
It's pretty hot already. Maybe can you do bludgeoning like it did when it fell on the floor, or force?
force? I could magic missile.
Oh, you can't miss with that. It's perfect.
Yes. I don't even have to aim.
Perfect.
Uh I'll try magic missile at first level at the cog wheel thing. Yes.
There's two of them, so do you want to split the magic missile on two or just one? Because level one magic missile sends three.
Yeah. I'll
So you're
just
sending two to one and one to the other?
2 to 1. Yes.
Okay. All right. As you move back and you sort of position yourself into the it's a slight descent downwards, but it's not enough to obstruct your view towards the thing. And it sort of curves off into an L shape that you can hide in a corner. Uh, I could imagine you going out into the corner, sort of extending your wand, and the magic missile flying off. If you played League, like Yumi's ability, that sucks, by the way. It flies off into the crystal, and nothing happens for a while. But you did hear this loud, as if something had shattered or like a metal beginning to bend. And about a delay of half a second after you heard the impact of your magic missile, you do feel suddenly this extreme heat and pressure as you get pushed back into the corner, as there's just this wave of red fire. And you could hear, even from here, the screams of people outside going, "Ah!" Screaming.
Uh for a second I thought that the magic missile missed. I almost trying to peek around the corner and oh god. Well, that seems to work out.
Yeah. Last check to be sure.
Yeah.
I look first to see if a portal didn't open. Okay. Runs to it. Looks from above. If everything's out, we can go out.
It looks empty and hollow now. There are some scorch marks everywhere and more of that white powder, white dust debris thing just sort of piled up in the middle of this um, circular device.
I take out the little pouch I have of the powder I have, which can work as a like the lightning thing on metals. Is it the same?
You can take a wild look at it if you'd like.
I'm gonna taste both.
Okay. the
Ew.
the first one you taste, the one that you actually use for metal to
Mm-hmm.
sort of create the static field and around it, it tastes very much like rust.
Yeah.
The second one that you taste, it just tastes like nothing, but it makes your throat extremely dry. That even just a small taste of it, you suddenly felt parched. Like you need a glass of water within the hour, or you're gonna get sick, kind of thing.
Yeah. Uh,
Oh wow. What?
take
Why is
take
your
one
voice
small
so
pouch.
raspy?
What do you mean?
He- Here, a
Uh,
water skin. Oh wow, you are very thirsty.
thanks. Still in
They
my
have
throat.
nothing in them. What did you do to them?
Uh, it's hot. Still in. it's stuck. It's like coagulated. Don't worry. I mean, I
Okay.
take the pouch. I try to take the cogs with, like take that in since it's like already in.
Sure.
It's already compact.
Hmm.
Okay, let's live.
Okay.
You've got enough
Uh,
to sort of fill up a pouch that's like almost half a fist's amount of powder.
Nice.
All right.
okay.
Pretty good.
So, uh, what does the double chin long hair guy told us again? To
Uh,
wait. No, not wait. To look
uh,
for his statue.
yes. Elizabeth send me information on that. Let's make it simple. Follow the shoreline, and we'll see one very not tasteful looking house. Probably be the one. It will have some kind of dolphins in there. A statue of dolphin, I think.
Dolphins?
Yeah, very obvious. We'll see it. Come on.
Who would make a statue out of dolphins anyway? Dolphins aren't even that magnificent. I mean, sure, they look cute for some people, I guess, but they are not friendly in the slightest way.
Okay.
As you wonder on who in the heck would want a statue of dolphins inside their home, it doesn't take you long to sort of exit the area and sort of travel by the eastern shoreline, and you can see exactly what Lisbeth was talking about. It's definitely made out of expensive material, but it's tacky. The combination of designs are just not that nice. You've got a silver gate mixed with like a golden doorknob, and then suddenly porcelain fountains in the middle. And in front of the porcelain fountain is a small statuette of himself adoring the fountain. And it's got a mixture of themes all around. But definitely, what you could tell is all these items individually are quite substantially expensive. And by the time you get there, you do see a small group of people still trying to get in by the main door. So you can imagine it's very big. There's a huge garden, a fountain in the middle, and then his house. And from there, you could see a couple of two more people being guided in. And Chin Guy sees you and he says, "Hello," sort of
Yeah.
gestures you and beckons you to come in.
Okay.
Happy everything went well.
As you mentioned that you notice a catch or you catch a glimpse of Lisbeth from inside the doorway talking to this old lady.
Perfect.
Lisbeth! Lisbeth!
Elizabeth turns around, kind of happy that like her friends are back. She's like, "Oh, I excused myself from Lady Donya, and yeah, I head to the door. I was like, Frigis, Ragnarok, and Endero's not with you? Well, I
As
suppose
you
not.
do, as you turn away and sort of excuse yourself from Doña Dionisha, uh, he reaches out to you, obviously. You can imagine from the point of view of Ragnar and Frigis, he sort of just recognizes you as you shout, and then he looks back and he sees this acknowledgement from Lisbeth. He goes towards Lisbeth, reaches out for your arm, even if it's in a gauntlet,
Wait, who?
and he goes, "You,
No, no,
Chin
who did that? Is Monticello?
guy." Yes, yes, it's Monticello.
Uh,
Monticello approaches towards you,
uh,
reaches out for your hand, even a gauntlet, and kisses the gauntlet and says,
I
"Senorita
slipped
Lisbeth."
my hand out. It was like, oh, that is okay. This, you don't have to. Please stand, please stand.
You're quite well, sir.
Yes, I can see. Thank you so much. Uh, the people might need you. This is after all your abode. Yeah.
right
And
now.
yeah, I look to
Mhm.
Bridges
Yeah.
like, why are you guys walking so
I
slow? Hurry up.
I suddenly have the sudden urge to leave
No.
immediately.
Uh, uh,
I'm like, hurry up. Come, come, come.
yeah, we are coming. Yes.
I walk very slowly, in a very courtly manner, like hands around your waist and walk very slowly.
You can
Are you
sense that.
experiencing side effects, Frigus?
Yeah, maybe it's the explosion, the heat stroke just struck on me just
Yes.
now.
As they move
Oh, I
slowly
feel
towards you,
sick.
Monticello takes this opportunity where there's a bit of a lull in the moment that he stands next to you by the doorway, and he says, "So, I catch it. Your name is Señorita Lisbeth."
wait. I was going to call him something. What was that? Yeah, Master Mortis. Ma- what is his name again? Morticello,
Monticello.
right? Monticello.
Monticello.
Yeah, Master Monticello. Um, the people, they need the host. Please,
Huh.
you can attend to them. It will, I would much appreciate it. It will be a very great help.
Now, see, of course, I will make sure that they are all handled. But are you okay, Señorita?
Yes, I am. I can take care of myself. That's all right.
Can I can I walk closer just a bit and cast detect thoughts
Okay.
on Monticello? I can't Spanish.
Monti,
Monticello.
yeah,
Monticello.
Monticello.
You know,
It is
Monticello.
as in like the cello you play.
Ah, right, Monticello. Okay. Detect thoughts. I read his mind. I want to know what he's thinking.
Yeah, 'cause you don't have to read like Elizabeth's mind. It's just fuck, 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 fuck. Get away.
okay. All right. As you cast detect thoughts onto Monticello, as he's approaching, you can see Elizabeth looking towards you, locked eyes towards you as you approach, whereas Monticello's eyes are sort of locked onto the side of Elizabeth's face. And you could see him sort of making small talk with Elizabeth, although you can't really hear it from the distance that you're in. You're about 30 feet away. You cast detect thoughts upon him, and he sort of has these trailing thoughts of, Forenya, it is quite a pleasure to see a woman that has more exotic features. Her hair, her
Oh,
skin, smooth as snow.
His soul will soon
Ay,
be
Dio
exotic.
mío, ay, Dio mío, I must have her.
sir! I shout. I call him, sir. I believe that you have a guest that should be welcome into your property.
Wait,
See, see.
hang on. Let me see how many more sendings do I have. The first, just now I gave a sending to you, right? So that's level 3.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna give one more sending to Fridges. It's like, remind him, tell him that I've chopped a man's head off because I can't.
Oh, and do not worry about Mrs. Lisbeth too much. She can very take care of herself. This one time I saw her clip a man's head clean off. So yeah, she
Frigus,
can.
it's not. We're surrounded by people just came out of. It's
Uh,
not the time. Please.
uh, but
All right.
that is not important. But yes, we have a situation that must require your attendance at this moment. Yes, as
You you still have detect thoughts on him as he's doing this. And as you're explaining the story of how he cleaves off a man's head, his head goes off into beauty and brawn,
Oh
twice the
shit.
body.
oh,
And
oh, fuck, fuck, fuck,
as
fuck.
you begin to explain more that, oh, the guests, they need this, you can immediately shift the shift in his mindset, and he says, Aye, these bastardos, why are they cock blocking me? Huh? I just want to talk to this yellow, now I have to deal with. And he goes, yes, yes, of course. Forgive my inability to host. I welcome you. I will be helping all of them, and you will all feel welcome while you are here.
The surprise thoughts Fergus reads from Ragnarok is, oh no, the heat got to her so bad. Oh no.
I I walk back a bit to tug on Ragnar's shoulder, like
Come on.
take this.
Yes, yes. Don't worry. Take my hand. They have water right there with dolphins. I know you don't like them, but
No, no, no.
let's put some water on your head. Huh? Real quick. Come on.
Ragnar, please, just
What?
can you take Lisbeth away from him as far as possible?
Oh, you want for us to set up a perch?
Yes, a purge. I can buy us some time. Yeah.
I see. While everyone's inside, me and Lisbeth go outside, the most armored ones. That way we can have a look on the entrance to see more thugs come in. Very good idea, Frigus.
Yes.
Still get some water in your on your head, please.
Yeah, I will. Thanks to you, you drink all my water.
Yes. Sorry.
No, it's all right. It's all cool.
I think right,
I
Gogan.
like the heat from I like the heat because the sea has too much breeze.
I don't understand. Please take a rest. Uh, Lisbeth,
Yes,
Frigus had a
let's
very
go.
good
Yes.
idea. Let's let's look for the nearest unoccupied house and set up a viewpoint from there. Make sure no thugs start to organize themselves in front of this mansion.
All right, I'm with you. Let's go.
Let's go.
And I
You
push
and
him in front of me.
yeah.
It's like,
What? What?
As Lisbeth and Ragnar are sort of quickly moving away, you can see Monticello sort of guiding the people in, but then he takes a look back and he sees that they're all moving. You can immediately hear these thoughts and he says, Ay puta, this bastardo trying to steal my girl. And he sort of moves back, gestures towards you, but you're just
Sir,
here. Like, nah,
sir, it's all right. She can take care of herself. Come on, let's go attend these guests that you suddenly have at this moment, please.
make a persuasion check.
And I think to myself, wow, I am actually better than this than I expected.
wow.
Frigus is the one stealing RNG now.
And with that, he goes, sort of still looks backwards, and you're sort of pushing him away. And from the detect thoughts that you have, which is about to fade, you hear him. She can't go far, so maybe I'll just look for her later. And then he looks towards Frigis and he goes, this one does not look that bad either.
Fuck.
Cast sleep.
So as
He
as
doesn't
you
have
come
that.
closer, he sort of says, yes, okay. Let's take care of the ones inside the hall. And he gestures you and he puts his hand on the back of your waist to sort of push you inside the door.
I I I still have my hands on my front and just walks in
All right.
in a very courtly fashion.
Okay.
Oh yes.
The door closes behind you, and the people are sort of just thanking Monticello for providing a place of respite, despite all the challenges so far. And he seems to be somewhat well liked, especially by the younger women here. Uh, but yeah, he's a 50-50 kind of guy, is how you feel right now.
You either hate him or you love him.
Yeah, there's sort of no in between with how
pretty
obnoxious.
much gas pretty much Gaston
Yeah,
from Beauty and the Beast.
sure, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna as we head off, I'm gonna ask right now. Obviously I'll wait until we're out of earsight, and I'm like, are we indebted to him? Because I would
It's
wish to have no more contact if possible.
we don't have to. It's not a question of that or not. It's a question about the heads of the city are one people that need help. and he and us are providing it right now. With us protection and him the facilities.
Is it
And
acceptable if I'm rude to him?
do as you wish.
Alright.
It's just if you nobility and rich people are hard to deal with. If you feel like you want to be rude to him, the best option is of course to just be away. They're not worth it. For now, let's try to see if there's an empty house nearby. If not, we'll just go in a back alley and be on lookout for now.
Alright.
We're still in the dangerous hours.
Okay.
It
So,
doesn't take you too long. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, no, no. Go on, go on.
It doesn't take you too long after leaving his house to notice that there is not necessarily an abandoned house, but a smaller, what looks like, uh, I don't know how do you explain it in English. It's a main house, and it has a smaller house off onto the side that has mostly recreational stuff,
Like a
like
shed.
a slightly bigger than a shed. It's a house technically on its own, but focused
Like
on.
servant quarters, the
Yeah,
servant's
it's close.
house.
It's close to that, but it's focused on giving like leisurely activities. So it has a lot of drinks, has like books, chess games, or Three Dragon Ante and
It's like
Dragon
a game
Dice.
room, but it's a game house.
Yeah,
Uh,
something like
I
that.
have a board game cafe.
Something like that. Something like that. So it's usually like where noble people would stay here, and whenever they would have guests and they want to hang out, they would go to that smaller house. So right now it's unoccupied, but it's maintained. Uh, it's covered by there are glass windows so you can sort of see inside, but the door itself is locked by what looks like a hanging padlock.
Would we have vision from inside the house to the
Garden,
entrance
yes,
of?
definitely. They're sort of
Well,
facing each other.
let's get inside. That seems like a perfect place to look throughout the night.
Okay.
All right.
I guess it's locked.
Yeah, it is locked. There's a padlock on the main door.
Well, a new best friend.
Get athletics check.
Yep. With advantage because that's what crowbars are for.
Yep, and +5 because adamantium.
Oh shit. A 24 again.
All right. With that, you sort of pull it out. You sort of place it in between the wedges, and before you could even put in a lot of force, you just go think. It just dislatches as it falls onto the ground. Makes a small amount of noise, but not really significant. And the door swings open.
Yeah, let's go in. I hope they have some water. I feel like I have a blood
Wait,
clot
what?
in my throat.
Are you alright?
Yeah, it's experimenting. Don't worry about it.
Do you have dark vision?
As a
No.
Who
human,
here
no.
has dark vision? I believe Bridges does. Elizabeth, do you?
No, I'm human.
We're
Okay,
both
so only
humans.
Bridges. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone in the party is human except me.
Oh, that is true. Completely opposite from before. They were all monsters before the last campaign.
Mm.
I'm
Uh,
literally most basic human. Plus one everywhere.
as
Wonderful.
you as you see inside, there is a. It's pretty dark. You could tell that there's books and sort of drinks sort of placed aside here. There is one oil lantern in the middle that looks like it has its own self igniter if you twist it long enough. You know, like an oven, like, and that's pretty much it here. With a lot of relatively uh, well priced material.
Try to light it because can't see shit.
Mhm. It easily lights up after a few clicks.
Yeah.
As he does that, there's no sound, no nothing. Alright, I'm just gonna make a quick perception check.
What are you
Um,
trying to perceive? Just the general layout of the room? Or...
um, just any signs of okay, do I see like things left out halfway. Like, how are the conditions of things around?
Okay. So the place itself is relatively well maintained. There is a bit of dust lining most of the things, so
Okay, so old. I mean, it's been a
probably
while.
like probably 2 to 3 days because you're by the sea, so all the
Ah,
dust
okay.
accumulates really quickly here. So it's probably been a day or two, or maybe a couple of days to a week,
All right.
possibly less than half a month. Uh, that there's this layer of dust that has sort of placed itself onto all the materials here.
Okay.
The well arranged, well cleaned. Although you do notice there are two bottles off into a two couches with a small sort of desk. Uh, a bottle is open, two glasses of wine. The bottle is closed, and the two glasses of wine looks like they have the stain of the drink
Okay,
at the
so they've
bottom, but
not
it's
been
empty.
put away.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I kind of signaled to Ragnar. Looks like whoever was here didn't quite get to leave on their own terms, perhaps.
Yes. Or perhaps as the revelation happened, they just stopped coming out to avoid being seen. No. Did you happen to find some water?
Uh, is there wine still in the
There's
bottle?
a lot of drinks and spirits, but not water.
Um,
Do they have wine?
Yeah.
I will
Oh, it's
find
fine.
a
It's
con
fine. They have wine.
I,
It's weak enough. Don't worry.
I will find a container and I will create 10 gallons of water.
Oh, you will.
Yes.
There's an empty keg nearby, but it's probably not a 10 gallons worth. It's a gallon at max.
So
Nice.
yeah, I just create water. You look like you need it. Just he'll be
Okay.
for the rest of the day or so.
All right. No, but the only open container here is either you place it in the room and flooding it,
Yeah.
or there's one keg that fits like maybe a gallon of water if you'd like.
Ah,
You
wait.
have to decide how much you're making on the spell creation.
When I make the water,
Uh-huh.
it goes into the container straight, right? It doesn't like float in the air like Avatar or
No,
some shit. Okay.
no.
Uh,
Or you can make water appear from the floorboards and flood the actual place.
like I'll find like pots or so, and then like make like three pots full of water, which is probably like
Doesn't
3 4 gallon.
doesn't seem like there is. The max you got is the two glass, a keg, and two more spare glasses, which will result in probably only 1.5 gallons.
Ah, okay, that's fine. I will
All
douse
right.
it on right now.
Ragnar looks at Lisbeth like doing the calculations in her mind with like the little
Yeah.
little letters and mathematics around him, and he's just like downs the bottle of red wine in one go.
But yeah,
Oh boy.
alright. So I'll just fill those
Uh,
glasses and kegs with the water. And I was like, there,
Ragnar
drink,
is immune
whatever.
to alcohol. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could still taste the flavors of the alcohol, but not the intoxication of it.
I'm using the wine just because
Yeah.
it's mostly water and to get rid of
Yeah.
the feeling I have in my throat right now.
All right.
Okay. Is the house single story or
It's single story. There is a bedroom at the back. It
okay?
looks like it has two bedrooms actually.
What are the differences between the two bedrooms?
Not much. It seems like it's meant for whoever would like to stay the night.
Okay. So I turned to Ragnar. It's like, oh, so what was your plan again? Are we
Uh,
overnighting here?
yes, I mean we do two shifts,
Okay.
and whoever is awake looks at the entrance to this guy's mansion.
All right.
Uh,
Uh,
both of you make a perception check. As you can see through the windows that there is a small gathering slash
Oh,
party among the aristocrats that's going on.
nice.
Oh wow, what are your rolls tonight? I'm glad it's not combat. Oh wow! What the heck?
Suddenly,
Went
when
through
going
the
Goku
to.
whole
starts
thing.
1, 1, 2, 1.
All right. With both of you looking through, you find that the people actually move into a living room that has this very elaborate, long, almost Catholic church style glass. Not the multicolored ones, but just like in design. So you can see the entire dining table, and it's a long table. He gestures everyone to come in, and Bridges stays off into one side of the table, and Monticello sits off into one side of the table. You can't hear much aside from the obvious laughter, and he seems to be sharing stories throughout this entire time. And Bridges, as you're sitting across him from a table of about 15 to 20 people, he sort of greets everyone and gestures everyone. He knows everyone by name, and he's also accepted by the people here as well. He then gestures towards you and he says, Let us not all forget that this is only possible because of our wonderful hero here. Lady, I request you to stand, senorita.
I stand up and picked up a glass of water, and
Senorita,
you
pray tell, what is your name?
you can call me Miss Frostmantle. Thank you very much.
Ah, Miss Frostmanta. And you can see a small smile forming onto his face. And he
And
says,
I would like to thank you, Mr. Montecello, for lending us his property for a place of refuge tonight. A toast to Mr. Montecello, everyone.
they all applaud. And he sort of makes a gesture to sort of, but it is us, the humble people of Taruga, that must thank you. If it was not for you and your friends, we would not be here drinking my fine wine and enjoying such great company. It is the least that I can do to offer you my home and my services. What's
Is the
mine is yours. My kitchen, my tools, my bed, and he sort of stops at that.
is the wine actually fine?
Yeah, it's quite yeah.
Oh,
It's similar to the Novellino you tried earlier in the
the
small
tavern.
tavern, except now it seems like this is aged more. It's a brut, so it's a slightly drier kind of wine, but you know it's expensive.
Okay, then oh, I must excuse myself. I'm already done with the meal, and I would very much like to rest.
Ah, yes, of course. Juliano, he gestures for a servant. Escort Miss Fridges to where she will be staying tonight. And this, like, probably early 20s guy approaches you, probably just 18 even. Pretty brown skinned, flat nosed, approaches you and says, Senorita, I can take you to your room.
Uh, Good night, everyone.
Everyone sort of stands up and curtsies towards you. So you can see now Fridges being led to her room in classic, like almost 90s Castlevania style. You can see her going up the staircase by a series of windows until she's eventually led off into a bedroom by herself. So, from the perspective of Ragnak and Fridges, you can see that at the bottom is the party, and almost on the third floor of this mansion is Fridges' room. And people are laughing onto the first floor until eventually Monticello departs from the group and follows Fridges up to her room. Uh,
Uh,
Bridges, you hear knocking.
uh, is the light? Are there lights in my room?
Yeah, yeah. There's candles and things being put.
I uh, I do not answer.
Cast silence.
I don't have silence.
You hear another series of knocking, tuk 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 tuk. Senorita? Senorita Frostmantle. Yeah, if you're asleep, I ask for apologies, but I'd like to request you to come ride with me tomorrow. I'd love to show you my stables and my vineyard.
I fake snoring.
Roll for performance.
Performance. I like that as a basing. I get a proficiency in performance. This is what I get for studying in college for 4 years. 14.
14 is fine. He doesn't push. Uh, he says, "All right. Uh, have a good night. I'll see you first thing in the morning. Sleep well. Paalam." And he disappears. And you see
I
him
just
going back down the staircase from the outside and rejoin the party. Nothing happens aside from that.
I get up from bed and I look through the window. Do I see both of them?
Make a perception check.
How far away are we?
Not that far, about
So
80 feet
far.
away. You don't see anything. Like you're on the third floor, and there's like very little light coming off from the area, and there's also the moon off onto the other side. Not much.
I'll go to sleep immediately.
All right. What about Frigis and
And
Ragnar?
Lisbeth and Ragnar. I guess she will allow Ragnar to. Do you want to take first watch, Ragnar?
No,
Okay, then I will take first watch.
thank you. I will go sleep.
Okay.
All
Already
right.
removing his
All right.
armor, breastplate.
As the as Ragnar goes to sleep and Lisbeth stays awake and Frigis goes to sleep. Frigis, in the middle of the night, you can see that the party disperses after a while, and nobody exits the mansion. They all stay in the mansion with Monticello. He seems to have gone home the latest. You notice that he tried to enter, not enter, but he tried to go towards this Frigis room one more time at about what you assume is an hour past midnight. But you saw from his silhouette like a gesture of hesitation, and he decides against it and goes back to his own room, which is the opposite side of the mansion.
So that's Monticello. Okay.
Yeah, it's Monticello. You could tell because even his silhouette has like a very protruding beard. I mean chin. And he seems to not bother for just for the rest of the night.
All right.
Make a perception check.
Phew. Ah, damn. Was almost another 20.
Okay. Uh,
A name?
there's not much you can see because one, you're human and it's dark. The lights do turn off into his mansion. There's one guy by the front door, the footman, that stays awake, or at least tries to stay awake by the main entrance on the inside. And from here, you don't notice anything strange going on. It is now about an hour and a half past noon. You can switch out your shift with Ragnarok if you'd like to wake him.
Okay. Then I go and take a rest. Do we get long rest or is it?
Maybe if it's complete,
All
but
right.
for now, not. Ragnar, you are awoken by Lisbeth, and the time is 1:30. You can see that the party has at least the party has ended. Everyone is asleep. There's no lights that are on in Monticello's mansion aside from the footman, the main door. Taruga itself is relatively quiet. The sound of the ocean blows from behind you. Yeah,
Uh, Question: Is this 4 hours?
It would have been 4 hours already, so you
Okay,
can be awake
so
if you'd
it's
like.
long rest. Oh, ew.
All right. What do you do, Ragnar?
Wow. Did your shift already pass? It felt like I just got to bed. Wow.
Yeah, it's a bit rough with just two of
Uh,
us.
Did anything happen?
I shake my head. Can't really see much out
Uh,
there, I'm sorry.
it's fine. It's good. I thought they were too careless to start celebrating already, but with the head gone, they might be right. Let's hope it stays that way for the rest of the night. Go to sleep. Thank you.
Alright, thanks.
Make a perception check. Ragnar.
Disadvantage because there's no light.
No, this one has light.
Okay.
This one's a straight roll.
To stay awake, I'm just gonna take another bottle of wine.
Mm-hmm.
Since the alcohol doesn't do anything,
Sure,
just
yeah.
for like the
The hydration
ins-
of it.
yeah, or like you taste once in a while, it keeps you awake. 220s in a row.
What?
That's because I just bought a new dice as we were talking during the start of the game.
That's because Wizards of the Coast bought the website now.
Oh,
So
It's
right.
like
Ah, that's why we're
they
they
getting
forgot
good
and they fixed
rolls.
it.
We're being
Yeah,
bribed.
Oh,
they fixed
That,
all
Robin
yeah.
is Robin is missing out.
that. All right. As you do, man, can't believe you got a 20. As you do, you look in the Monticello mansion,
Could,
and
could the like the half night I got count as a short rest?
yes, of course, yes.
Yeah, because I have 18 HP right now. I'm gonna spend some hit die.
All right.
Continue. I'm doing it now.
As you are looking down into the Monticello mansion, you notice almost for just half a second while you're pouring out, drinking a bottle of wine, put up against the window still, you notice four flashes of light, very briefly, happening by around the vicinity in the air. You see almost like twinkling stars. And they look like small orange explosions. And after that, with a natural 20, you noticed on the roof of Monticello's mansion, there are these winged black figures wielding tridents, sort of crawling by the roof, walking down the windows, sort of peering through the bedrooms, and just traveling across the other sides of the walls.
As I
This,
see that,
yeah,
yeah. So finish the description. Sorry.
this was just, you don't know how you saw it. It just looks like shadows of clouds passing through, but your eyes fixated on it, and you see a total of four of these creatures walking by, like sort of crawling by these windows.
I get up. And as I go to wake Lisbeth, I like bite myself a bit on the arm twice to activate both my mutagens. Back to strength and int this time. And just since I'm busy with my hands, I kick her. Sorry, Lisbeth, come on now. We need to go.
what? Oh my god, you're not kidding.
Yeah.
There, your shift is really feels very short. Did,
Because it just began. I just like take her by the arm and start dragging her out without
I was like, wait,
because we
what?
don't have the time.
It's not
Just take
morning
your shit
yet.
and let's go. No, it's
What?
not.
Did I even get an hour?
Sure, yeah, you got an hour. You get short rest if you'd like.
Thank you.
Uh,
Am I gonna use?
I used 4 just to be safe. Now I have 42 HP.
I'm gonna use
Now I feel dumb.
5 hit
I
dice.
should at least have used 5 because I would have gotten them back. after a long rest.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
Did it roll for my hit dice? No, it didn't.
Didn't roll on me.
Yeah.
Click on short rest and then click how many dice you want to use,
Yep,
and
and
then
then
click.
I click.
It will auto heal you normally.
It didn't.
No.
It just says relevant activities. Well, never mind. I guess 5d8 plus 15.
Ragnar just dragging
Nice.
her with Lisbeth with no armor, just the
Oh,
shield
full
on her
HP.
hand. Like,
Yeah.
come on, come on.
That's a lot. Wow.
And as we get to the door, since it's all metal with metal on the sides,
Mhm.
Ragnar's gonna kick it as hard as possible as he activates his sun sword
Mhm.
to just attract attention.
All right.
None of my spell slots are back though.
If half the night went by, Frigis probably finished her meditation, so at least she would get the noise
Yeah.
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah, it's okay. I don't mind me. I think I can handle this. But what did you say?
It's demons.
Demons. Right. Okay.
I mean, no, devils. Sorry,
What?
devils, not demons. Slip of the tongue.
All right.
Okay.
As Ragnar sort of splashes the door inside, activating his crimson and also the weapon, you could hear the sound fridges from above, even if you were from the fourth floor. As the door was kicked open, it sort of just slams. And Ragnar, from here, you look inside. You already know that the footman who was falling asleep is here. You could see three stab wounds onto his chest, and it sort of just bled out onto the side. And his body has these veins sort of extruding outwards in black, and he's just dead on the floor as soon as you enter. You
Wait, who's
hear the
that?
flap, the footman, like
Okay.
the doorman, and both you and Lisbeth hear the sound of like the fluttering of wings. Like I don't know if it's gonna pick up. Like it's not,
He didn't
but
pick up.
that's the problem with echo cancellation. Let's test this again.
Nope.
No.
It's like the sound of wings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I can.
I I took 5 damage. Am I right?
Uh, Bridges, you hear this too. What do you do?
I draw my blade and open the door to the downstairs.
Okay. Bridges, you open the door. There doesn't seem to be anything. You look left and right down the hallway. There's nothing that you can see. You hear the sound of this fluttering sort of moving underneath you quickly. So you go towards the stairs and I assume you go back down one level to level 3.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Ragnak and Lisbeth eventually transcend up to the second floor, and the sound sort of combines in the second floor area. So to Ragnak and Lisbeth, you could hear that somewhere here. There's no lights in the mansion so far. There is a bit of the moonlight coming in
Sword.
through the windows. Oh, and the sword, yes. But aside from that, it's a little bit difficult to see in terms of furniture and the environment past 60 feet. But you know that it's somewhere here and it's in front of you, the sound. And for Frigis, it's underneath you.
What?
Because you're on the third floor, they're on the second.
Yeah, you're
Oh,
on the
right,
third
right.
floor.
Oh, you had me there for a second. I, I'll, I assume I start seeing the light from the sunblade. Ragnar's here. I walk towards him.
All right, all three of you make a perception check.
Ragnar's gonna scream, "Everyone stay in your rooms!"
What? As I start walking down.
Not you! Perception. Yeah. Good pay to win
Oh,
works now. I can
yeah,
finally have good rolls.
Nice.
17.
good job.
Good
So you can
times.
imagine you're in a very long hallway onto the second floor. There's doors left and right of you that separate off people. You heard this one door open as it peers out. There's this uh, slightly middle-aged woman, like early 30s, maybe mid 30s, Latina-looking woman, very curvaceous, uh, big hips, big arms, but thin waistline. So you just peer out, and you begin to shout, "Stay in your rooms!" And you hear her go, like, "Ay, Dio mío!" And she closes the door. Um, as she closes the door, you see these four creatures, two of which are on the roof. One is onto the side and one onto the floor. They're about 6 feet in length. They've got very thin bodies. They've got very thin waistlines, at least, but very big, muscular torsos and biceps and forearms, and really, really long claws on their left hand. And on their right hand, they're wielding this what looks like black obsidian tridents. Uh, one of which is onto the side of the wall latched on, two are on the ceiling latched on as well, and one is on the ground standing like a human with its trident pointing towards you. Its mouth opens up for a second and it opens four ways. Its tongue extends, and you see his throat vibrating, but you don't hear any sound. They suddenly start to jerk towards you as we kick off into initiative. But I'd like to request tonight that we end this here, as I had a very stressful work week last week and I had to speak every day because I was the trainer for a bunch of newcomers. So my voice is a little bit worked out. So if
Yeah.
you don't mind, we'll continue this next week.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yep,
That's fine.
that is cool.
I don't. It's fine.
Oh,
I don't even need to make a new character. I already have
All right. Perfect,
Maybe
guys.
I took
maybe
5 right damage. I'm at 37.
maybe Robin can catch up to us next week.
Hey, if he is, maybe
Yeah.
I'll work with him. He's
yeah.
a pop in, pop out kind of guy right now.
Yeah, yeah. I assume he's quite busy. I'm quite busy too.
Yeah, next
I
week is technically public holiday.
Oh, then we'll see what day works for us anyway. I'm
Yep.
pretty flexible within the week anyway. I assume most
mm,
of you guys are.
Yep.
All
mhm.
right. Okay. Thank you for playing, guys. See you
Okay.
next week.
See you
All
next
right.
Bye
week.
bye.
Take care. Bye bye.